sure I kick off the recording for this. Can you see my screen okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Angela, so let's... so have you done any... is this... Okay, yeah, fill us in.
That's the effect in Substance.
Yep.
And then the rest of the renders are in Blender with... Because I just wanted to get some feedback on the renders.
Yep.
And how I've done them.
With the so you're going sort of for that treefy, shady sort of look, so that you've kind of got some interest in the background. Is that what you're doing there?
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah. How do I feel about that? It's a good question. I was kind of, when I first saw it, I was like, it's a little bit distracting off the actual character itself.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of works a little bit. So I mean, that render there, is that different from this one? What render is? It just feels that.
That's in Substance Painter.
That's in Substance Painter.
That's using Iron.
And this one here is using, is that Blender?
Blender, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cycles.
Yeah. Oh, it is different, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks a lot more plasticky here.
You're trying to get the, like you said, the isotropic, where it's just, it's, you know, being highlighted on the wrinkles and following those creases and stuff, rather than the broad stuff. Yeah, I mean, and so when you did it in Stager, like, was it being respectful of the shading model there? Like, was it? Yeah, it was. Okay. And you're used to Blender, or is this a new learning curve for you?
New. I used Redshift when I was in school, and then I switched to doing like real-time renders after that, and then for this I decided I'd do a ray trace render, and I don't have Redshift anymore, so I switched to Cycles.
Okay, cool.
In Blender.
And are you using the plugin for Blender with Substance?
No.
Okay.
Would that make a difference?
That might help, because it helps set up the shading network for you. Mm-hmm. What version of Blender are you using?
4, I think. The newest one?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just send you. Just help, because what happens when you it just sets up it's just the plugin's really useful, just in terms of like helping you set up that whole shading network.
So it might help me translate a bit.
Exactly. If I go to, there is a new version of this that's just been released as well. I'll follow up with you, Angela, just to make sure you've got the latest version of it. If I just grab that and let's drop this in the chat. That might just help.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, so it just might help in terms of like reading the maps and then making sure the correct nodes are in for isotropic, so that it's working properly. So yeah, maybe I can, like I said, I can make sure that you've got the latest, because there's a new one that's come out as well. Yeah, I'm excited to see some materials on the jack. I think that's really cool. The stitching detail looks beautiful. I think, yeah, you just need to kind of get the fabric working with the silk the bark looks great on the back. It looks awesome. I love that how you've got all the different shapes going through. I haven't seen the back before, so that's really cool. Yeah, you just gotta nail the fabric now, and then you're in a good spot. In terms of the presentation, it's not horrible like the leaves. I think it adds to the atmosphere a little bit, and just like it does help it.
Should I pull it back a bit?
I was thinking that just subtly.
Okay.
Um, yeah, maybe just ever so subtly. But yeah, it's looking amazing. Like honestly, you've done a really great job. You've even got the leaves on there. You've managed to get the leaves on, which is awesome.
That was such a pain.
Yeah, I can imagine. Um, so yeah, really, really nice. And you pulled the face out a little bit just with that.
Yeah,
With the
the
color variation.
like the lightning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Started the buttons.
Yeah, and so this same pattern is going to be replicated on the other side once you've done it.
Yeah, I'm redoing the pattern just because the leaves aren't very obvious on the head. I'm doing a little bit of a transition on the vest from sort of like from green to autumn.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
So I'm redoing the design.
Geez, you've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the costume there.
Yeah, and sort of changing the leaves on the brocade.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. I love this detail here. It's really nice. Uh, go there. Jumped around a little bit. Oh, shot down the bottom. Yeah, I think you're on the right track. You've just got to get finished now. I think the final presentation with the renders it's a nice touch. Just maybe a little bit less subtle, and maybe just yeah. Because are you playing with light colors at the moment or no?
A bit, like a bit of a warm color on the left side of the face.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's all heading in the right direction. You just need to get that shader working in Blender, and then get your final renders done. But yeah, I think it's looking amazing. Any other questions?
Not at the moment. I guess, is there anything else that I could do that would just elevate it more?
I don't think so. I think it's just getting it finished, to be honest,
Yeah.
Angela, and just kind of that final presentation, and how it, where like it's like I said, it's bloody close. Yeah, this is all working really well. I think the ground's working good. Uh, yeah, I think it's just the final push now. Make sure that your satin's feeling like satin, and you've got your once these patterns go on, like that's the bells and whistles, because you've got everything else is working. It's just this final sort of 10%, and I don't want to say add more things, because you've got a bit to figure out just to kind of get it to that point. You explored what the final presentation is going to be, and I think you're in a good spot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's in a really
And
good place.
I'll try to plug in.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to send you some other information, because I saw somebody else asking about that the other day, and I just want to make sure that you've got the latest and greatest. But yeah, fantastic job. Did anyone else have any sort of comments for Angela? It's always good to get other people's opinions as well.
I didn't have any other comments. I just thought it looked fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah, the detail is amazing.
Really great job.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice one. All right. If you think of anything else, Angela, just ping us or just let us know during it, and we can chat about it. All right, cool. There's a couple posted, so I'm going to jump to them first. And was this yours, Tabitha? Yeah, Tabitha, you're online,
Yes.
which was awesome.
Can you go ahead and update the
page?
Yes, I have posted a newest version.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'm going to just save that image. Want to be able to get a closer. You want to tell us a little bit about this character?
A lot of times while I'm working, I listen to vaporwave music, to just kind of chill out and get my headspace right. And I thought, why not add that to the meat mat base mesh?
Awesome, love it. Yeah, I was looking at this before, and I was like, because I hadn't really seen it before, and I was like, it's super. I mean, it's clean, and I like that about it. Like it's you're telling a story. You haven't overcomplicated it. You haven't varied. It feels like it's all telling the same story, which I thought was really super cool. Is that reflection happening under there, or did you paint that on?
That's a reflection happening.
Okay, cool. It's interesting because it doesn't feel that reflective on the top above.
Yeah. I noticed the same thing, and I think I might just mess with the roughness on the bottom so it isn't as reflective.
Yeah, is it so?
Because it feels out of place.
It does, because that threw me a little bit because I was it feels a little bit more matte than what it suggests underneath there, and I feel like those sort of is it supposed to be like an old record player, or what's the dials based off?
It's supposed to be an old TV, like a TV from the 80s. Maybe I need to bring it in a bit or add a few different other things. I feel like it's missing something that adds it to makes it look like a TV.
Yeah, because I actually thought it was a record player, and I was like looking at some reference sort of earlier, and I was like, oh, what'd be cool to when I was looking at some of this stuff, just like again, it felt like, to your point, was just missing maybe a couple of little things, but if it's a TV, 80s TV, let's have a look at what that looks like. Maybe it's just a little bit of, and this is probably a little bit over the top, but a little splash of color with some of the, actually, if you look at that, just even some of this, that sort of volume grating type stuff, which is pretty easy to set up. It could be something like that, which is just a bit of a grate on top, which is where the volume comes out. You know what I mean? Just to add another, or that could be even on the other side, to be honest, to balance the controls out on that side.
Because I was originally going to add like the TV antenna, but I can't do that much with the height map and tessellation.
Yeah, a couple of people have played with that, and it kind of it can look awkward because of just the sheer nature of the mesh. The thing with the antenna, you could like I said, you could probably just have that volume grate. That could be part of it, right? Just to add a little bit more interest. But like I said, I really enjoy that it's so clean. Yeah, something like that.
Yes, I see.
Bring that back up for a sec. Yeah, I definitely lose the reflection on that wood. That's definitely throwing us a little bit.
I feel like the dials might be too big. I could move them up more and put something more like something different, like grating or something else at the bottom.
Yeah,
move it up more, make it smaller.
I don't mind the size because it it's quite it is stylized, and I don't mind it that it's a little bit over the top with the dials. But like I said, maybe it's just the grating on the other side. And is there any renders behind it at all?
I can paste one. Not behind.
Not behind. So there's no details or anything happening directly behind it.
No.
Okay, no, that's okay. Like with the amount of time that you've got left, I'd just be careful about overcommitting. So yeah, maybe just tweaking that roughness, maybe adding that volume grate on the other side, which is just another little bit of interest. And what else can you do? I think you've got your wooden base. It'd be nice to see if is that the same material that you're using on the base here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's looking. I don't want to add too much to it. I think it's working. So yeah, maybe just those additional little pieces on it. Does anyone else have any feedback? What do you think, Angela?
Yeah, just a lot of. It doesn't quite feel like a TV. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But just like with, I'm trying to remember what a TV looked like when I was a kid. Because I think I had my granddad's old one. But yeah, just the dials don't quite feel like TV dials.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just a few more details for the TV. I like the jacket. It's very bright and fun.
What do you think would make it look more like a TV?
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
I'm trying to.
I think you
trying to figure it out. Maybe it's just that like those TVs are so boxy and the head's so round. It's hard to like get that boxiness on the round shape to make it feel right. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure.
Sorry,
because I originally tried to use the height map and tessellation to add, how an old clunky TVs it has like a little back panel that's kind of slanted and it's square that comes out.
Or actually, what about so with the screens, like you can see them with Allens, they're square, but they've got that sort of rounded squareness to it. Could you almost do that on the front, like not make it into a square, but basically with your circle slightly like warp it to look a little bit more, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, so you're trying to get the actual shape of the glass so that it feels like it's got kind of got the bulge.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe that's just a play. Sorry, actually, somebody else was just about to give some feedback as well. Was that who was that? Alex, were you going to say something, mate?
It was me.
Yeah.
I maybe thought about some scan lines over the actual screen to maybe bring some depth to it.
Okay.
Yeah. You're right. It's just it might even it's just that sort of the play because it doesn't read almost as glass. So yeah, maybe it's just trying to fake that sort of glass. Like Angela was saying, like the bulge of the actual glass itself.
I think what's his name? He did the lizard in the sort of military suit. He talked about basically reversing the normals and to the distance, like to get like the eyes to warp.
Yeah.
Could you do that with the screen? Maybe I'm not sure what that would look like.
Yeah,
but could you get like some kind of like warping effect?
That was Artie. He had the eyes. Yeah, so it didn't matter which way. Which was it? It didn't matter which way it was kind of looking. The eyes were always looking at you. Yeah, it'd be worth even Tabitha. It would be worth actually pinging Artie and just asking how he did that.
I can find him in the Discord.
I'm just going to put his entry here. It's actually above. I'm just going to put it in the latest one. But yeah, reach out to, it's that one there. Reach out to Artie, and maybe because it might be just a really quick fix just to help fake that a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, even see here, even on this one, it's got that sort of volume grate. I think something like because then it would suggest that it is something that's giving out sound. There's that sort of grate that happens at the bottom there. Anything that kind of suggests that it's a little bit, even maybe a couple more dials at the front. I don't know, like these little ones, like you've got the contrast and the brightness from the old school TVs, something like that could work even slightly better. And I'm just thinking there, if I zoom into that, because they do look like sort of more, not so much TV, but dials that are for, aircraft or something like that. It's, it's more twisting rather than turning on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, maybe it's just something that just is a little. Sometimes you got to be really obvious with it. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the color palette and your story behind it, I think it's fantastic. It's just that fine tuning of just making it a little bit more obvious that it's a TV.
Oh.
And it could even be actually. Sorry to interrupt you, Tabitha. But it could even be, when a TV's actually turned on, it's got the lines at the top, right? That kind of then square this up a little bit rather than a round, TV screen.
Yeah.
You could just try and add those crop resolution black lines in to kind of again suggest that it is a TV. That kind of goes all the way to the edges, but
because I could bring it in more, and then make a square of the face, or like bring in the face a little bit more, and then add the resolution crop within the part right now that already has the blue screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I maybe could even add like it looks like there's a Sony logo on that TV.
Oh, down the bottom. Yeah, something like that. Again, cool. Yeah, that's a great idea, just to help sell it a little bit more. Yeah. And I was even thinking, you could even have like that, just that bloody toy TV noise fuzziness there. You could also have a look, maybe, I don't know, see how it looks, but a little strip of it, right? Because some of those old TVs were never really perfect pictures anyway. But I think, all the things that you're suggesting, a little logo down the bottom, maybe just cropping is enough, and then just adding that volume grate on top of it. I think that'll really just help sell it.
I feel like for the dials wise, the metallicness, I couldn't quite get it to look right. What do you think of the dials? Because I feel like the metallic looks right around the center in that curved area, but on the dials it doesn't quite look right.
Yeah, is that supposed to be fully metal, or is that paint? Oh, it's painted metal, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be metal, and then the little square area is supposed to be like plastic, kind of.
Okay.
What do you think of those materials?
Yeah, it doesn't really read. I mean, it reads a little bit as more painted metal that's been worn, and those, that's the grip on the side of the kind of the dial. I don't. Yeah, it feels, if it's supposed to be, it's more like this on the outside, right? This painted sort of metal. Yeah, maybe there's an element of just adding some more wear to that, just so that it doesn't look like it's a brand. Like if it is an older TV and it has got this much wear on the edge of the screen. I'd expect to see probably a lot more wear on the button, on the dials, than what there currently is.
Okay.
Just to show through some more of that metal. What else is there we can do? But I think, just adding all that will really help.
Okay. And then for the body, What do you think of the material? Should I make it look a little bit more like fabric, like Angela's, or does the fabric read all right?
Yeah, I think the pants read okay because it is that sort of satiny vinyl type, jacket, isn't it? When you that's I think it works for me because of the a lot of times people will start doing something stylized and then there's this struggle between making it look sort of photorealistic and adding details and keeping it stylized, and then parts fall, then it doesn't feel unified as one character. At the moment, I love this sort of the simplicity and the colors of it. So there could be maybe like a zip you could add in there, which is again maybe like larger than life, which is just kind of more of a suggestion of a zip rather than being exactly the right scale. You know what I mean? Just to add a little bit of bling to it. And yeah, I can see the material that you've got on the pants. That works okay. I love the little shoes. Yeah, I think it's cute. There is a few things you could add to it, but I'd just be careful about trying to get going photorealistic with the materials on it. Yeah, super cool though. I love it. It's great.
Thank you guys for your feedback.
No problem. Did anyone else want to add to that?
Yeah, maybe I thought that you could add some asymmetry to the zipper, to the actual jacket.
Yeah.
Like a bit of the jacket more raised than the other.
Yeah. And even, like something that could be fun if you find you've got like a little bit of time, maybe some sort of like a little badge, like
that would be cute.
Something like that, because people love their badges back in the day, right? So something that could be fun there. One just, and maybe just try this out as well, like with the base. Maybe just dropping the intensity so that the character is the focus, because it feels like at the moment that it blends in to be one. It's quite busy, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Maybe just try a version of it where you're just dialing the fluorescent, the color, the saturation of this down a little bit. Maybe or not. Maybe it still works like this. But I just trial it. See if the character then pops out. I know the base is part of the character, so maybe it's fine as is. I'm just curious to see what that would look like, and again, make your own call on what the best option is there, but to see what that looks like as well.
Yeah, I didn't quite have a good direction when going for the base, so I don't quite know where I should go with it. Wise, because I was basically just going off of like vaporwave aesthetic. If you've ever seen like the lines into the sunset with the water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it reads well, so I'm probably before the deadline gonna tweak it some more. Do you have any suggestions for that?
Yeah, like I said, just try dialing it back a little bit, just so that we're seeing the character. But I don't mind the pattern. I think it sort of complements what you've got going on the screen, and it still fits with that sort of 80s vibe. And yeah, I think it's working. It's just maybe playing around with because I don't think you would need to introduce any other colors, because it all sort of fits in with that same palette. Yeah, I think it's okay. Mate, just tweak it a little bit. See what pops out. What's working. But no, I think it's working.
All right, thank you.
Cool. We have Black Paw.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you.
I did not actually uploaded any other render since my last update, but I can send them over right now because I changed a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay. If you've got the latest one, that would be cool.
Yeah, I can send
yeah, just drop it in the chat. Yeah, I was loving it.
Okay.
Is this the latest one?
No, I'll send over.
Okay, cool.
I'll send Send over in the DMs or the chat?
Just send it over in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at this character. He looks amazing. Loving it as well.
Thank you. Okay, I just need to resize them. They are too
big,
too powerful, too big for the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just need 2 minutes.
No worries. I'm gonna just leave that over to there. Maybe I'll just pull that back up again. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I noticed that you changed the eyes from that yellow to the blue, which I think was probably a good call because the eyes were very dominant in terms of the actual appearance of them. The one thing I was looking at, you've got your blood and stuff down there, which has got a nice specular value, and then you've got your scars on the face, which is kind of, I felt like there needed to be a different specular value within those sort of scratch marks there. Maybe you've already done that. Let me just have a look.
And I'll slowly send them over. And I did actually change it back to the orange. So.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see how it looks. I'm just going to save them.
Okay, they should be. That should be the. Okay, that's it.
Okay, cool. Oh, you changed it back to the yellow eye, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually not
because
too
I
bad.
thought that point of interest was needed, but maybe you were right about the eye getting too much attention.
You know what it does do? Because with the blue one, and you've got the kind of the blind eye or whatever it's going on here, that phased over one. It wasn't quite as obvious with the blue eye what was going on. I was like, oh, is that just a lighting thing that I'm not seeing the blue in there? It does kind of with the yellow eye. It makes it more obvious that there is something wrong. There is a problem with that eye. So that is a positive with having a slightly different coloured eye. But it helps. It does help it sort of pop out a little bit. I mean, I'm kind of like 50-50. I don't know. What do other people think with the color of the eye? Now that I see it, I actually don't mind because it just brings in a nice little color with it as well, a little pop of color. But what I was just saying before, Alexander, was just the specular value of those scratch marks. It would be great to see that if it was a little bit more like actually blood-like, like you've got on the base down here. Okay, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I think it would do. It just fit. I know it's the face. It's quite stylized, but you've got that sort of blood going on there. I feel like that would just be if the specular value was just felt like it was a little bit more wetter and more. Maybe the color just needs slightly tweaking as well, just so it feels a little bit more blood-like. Is it supposed to be fresh? Those claw marks, are they?
No, that's actually was supposed to be cauterized. Maybe,
sorry, say that again. It was supposed to be what? You just cut out then.
Cauterized. Yeah, inflicted many months ago.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's more sort of scar tissue rather than a fresh claw.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Then
maybe if you add like a few, like maybe add different color within it, because it looks like it's just one color within the scar. It might add the depth that he's looking for.
Yeah. The other thing, having worked with scars and before, and so when the healing process actually happens, you're getting a layer that's building up. So rather than it going in, it's actually coming up. If you know what I mean. If you look at reference healing scar.
Okay, I see what you mean.
You know,
I'm searching it right now. Yeah, I'm searching right now.
This image, for example, and this is more of a scar, but if it's going to come up. Where is it? Yeah, where's it? So it's a little bit more obvious there, but actually, is it going to be large? Let's go back. So when you look at the scars, you see how it's actually it's going up and it's not going in. So maybe because I read that as being fresh scars because of the way that it had cut into the skin, and I know there's fur sitting on top of that, so it's a bit of a tricky one. But yeah, maybe adding a little bit of color variation in there, showing that it feels like it's healed up and it is older than what it is, because at the moment it feels like it's just quite fresh done, but there's just lack of sort of blood in it. And you can see even with some of these, I don't know if there's close-ups of it. Let's just have a look at that. Even and again, yours is super stylized, but usually there's a bit of a pattern that happens with scars because of the stretching skin. So maybe that's where you're adding that little bit of color variation to it. But you could just try inverting it so that it's actually popping out rather than in, and adding a little bit of color variation to it. Just again, evaluate, see if it reads better, and make a call on that. See, even with something like that, you see the color variation even in that scar. Like this is obviously a lot. This is not fresh. It's got that crusty sort of. You can see all the variations in the colors in that. And I'm not saying it has to be that detailed, because this is obviously photorealistic, but there would be nice if there was just a few other colors introduced there.
Okay, I'll invest in some color variations. Maybe just bump it up and
see how it looks. Yeah, exactly. Let's just have a look at. Yeah, you've done a great job. Great job on the costume and that. I love the base. You've done a really nice job. There's no stretching of geometry. You've hidden it really well. You've done a great job there. The variation.
I was actually worried about the stones in the pedestal.
Yep.
Maybe they could come out a little flat, comparing them to the actual model itself.
Oh, I think it reads fine.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think that to me there's that's popping out. You're lucky because it's because of the actual S shape itself. You've got an edge there that you're able to work with, and there is some play with it. So, but actually, like I was saying, you've done a really good job, and it's not showing any signs of stretching at all. So I think it's working really nicely. This specular variation in the front of the leather there, is that supposed to be blood on there?
Yes, you should have a close-up of that particular area.
This part here?
The other... No, you have another screen I sent in the chat.
Okay, cool. Let's just have a look.
Yes, that's the close-up. Yes, that's spot.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's the color of the blood, but it just doesn't read really well on there. I wasn't too sure, whether that was just wet, because I just don't read that it's actually blood. Your blood is quite dark. Again, might be just a bit of a play. You've got the blood sitting on there, so maybe. Yeah, I'm not too sure whether it's playing with the base color of the leather just so that the blood reads better. But maybe just have a little play around with that just to see if you can get it reading better, because it just doesn't read as blood. It is quite dark. Yeah, it is quite dark. Just see what you can do. See, even on that metal, like it's the blood's really dark. Is it because of the render?
What could I add to the blood to make it pop more?
I think it's the color. I think it's the color of the blood, okay. Alexander. Maybe just try playing with the color a little bit, just so that because it is, it's quite dark. See, even on these renders here, it's quite a dark. Like what? Yeah, I'd be curious just to see what the color, the base color is for your blood. Maybe just try and again, maybe it's just playing with that area there so that it pops out a little bit, so that it just reads as blood.
Yeah, the actual albedo is much more darker than the one showed in the render. It's a dark red.
The albedo is much darker.
It's very dark, yes.
Yeah, maybe just bring it up a little bit, add a little bit of brightness to it, just so that it reads. It's getting lost because of the leather color, and it's almost merging with the color of the blood, and it's not obvious. I think it would even help on the pants there, just to read as blood a little bit better as well. Yeah, fantastic detail, really nice work on here. It's really nice stitching, nice leather. Great job on the fur coming over. That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, really, really nice works. And what are you rendering with here? Or is this, because the renders look very different from what's on the actual site here?
The render is the same. It's actually made on Substance, but I changed the HDR to another one.
Oh, you changed the HDR? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some lighting change going on. So what have you used for this latest render?
I think I used the Studio 5.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just wondering if some of the details because it's quite dark in there. Again, my monitor's not graded, but it's quite black in some of here underneath the actual head itself, and even in the ears. Whereas I felt like you would just kind of see how I can't even read those stripes underneath here anymore. So maybe just see if there's I'll just be careful about going too dark with it.
Hey, Owen.
Hey, mate, how are you, Pubs?
Yeah, not too bad. Sorry about the...
All good, mate. All good. All good.
Cool.
All good.
Yeah, I'm here, so if you...
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, we're just looking at Alexander. So he's got this really cool little character. Actually, and you know what? We might, since Angela's on as well, we might go back because she had a question, so you might be able to answer it because I wasn't too sure how to if there was a solution for it. But yeah, I was just looking at Alexander. So he's just given us an update of his renders. He's got a really cute little character. He's changed the eye color to this yellow. I was just commenting on the actual scar tissue in here because it was kind of reading as a fresh, claw scar wound. But he's saying that it's older. I was just saying that about scars. When they start healing, they actually go out upwards, not inwards. And adding a little bit of color variation in there to show that the healing process. Again, just introducing a bit of color variation just to help sell it. So that was kind of the feedback there. And then I was just looking at the lighting because he's changed the HDRI from this render to this one, and I was just commenting on how dark it is now underneath the actual head, and you're losing a lot of detail that you can't see now.
Hard to read those stripes.
Hard to read the stripes. So maybe just looking at finding a light setup that just brings back some of that detail. And the other thing I was just talking about was just the blood, because there's blood on that leather part there, but it's really getting lost. And I think the blood color is too dark, and it needs to be set, just brought out a little bit more, because it's blending in with the leather and it's not really popping out of the costume, and you're kind of losing it there as well.
Yeah, I think with the blood, it's tricky about it. It's not just a matter of like putting a new layer with different color and different roughness, but blood is actually quite thick, so it would change the height map a little bit. So I can show you a couple of tips to go along with that and the scar tissue if you want. I just opened Substance Painter now.
Okay, cool. When blood darkens, it goes brown. Yeah, that's increased overall contrast, and the new renders help keep the eye from dominating as much. They don't look flat to me. It's a bit dark. The blood is also slightly too purple. Yeah, I think with the new lighting, Alex, the blood gets lost. There because it works because you can see it on the metal, and it's working better. And even there, you can sort of read it. Like here, it just gets lost with this new light rig. So maybe just and like Pablo said, there is a thickness to it that would help just make it stand out from the leather and on the metal a little bit as well. Okay. Did you want to share your screen, Pubs?
Yep. Let me just do that.
Do I have to stop here? Oh, no, you got it.
No, I think you can switch between the two.
Yeah, cool.
I do have no, never mind. All right, all good. So can you see it now?
Yep.
It says we've paused this preview to save resources. So maybe you have to turn off yours. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, no, I'm off. So maybe it's coming on now, is it? Oh, is it?
No, you're still live.
Oh, am I?
Oh, no, never mind. Sorry. I think it was just me. Yeah, I had a message saying that it was maybe the resources on my computer. As long as you can see it, let me know.
Is my screen still is it being shared as well? My screen?
I think you can switch between yours or mine. Yeah. Okay. We're both live, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Just let me know if you can see the screen so that I can cover it.
Yep, all good. I can see it.
Cool. So the first tip I would say in terms of like the scars, like you said, when it's a fresh wound, you won't see the when it's an old wound, you wouldn't see the freshness of the cut, like the deep cut. It would be the scar tissue is ultimately the skin being reattached together and it's creating that bumpiness. So one of the things you can do is in the asset library you can actually search for scar, and then you have options if you want to use this one. So this is just an example. You can take this plain scar, drop it in there, and just play around with the triplanar projection. I'm going to scale this down. And if you want to avoid the repeating pattern, you can just change the the tiling. Again, where am I looking at? Triplanar projection. There is cropping shape. Should be that one. There we go. So projection, crop to shape. So you only have that one. But it is a parametric substance, so you can just change the height of it, the thickness, the color, all of that, the intensity. But there is a tiny bit of bumpiness to it. So this is just something that comes with Substance. You have a few options, and I think if you go to the library, you can just get a few more. Now, if you want to build yourself and create a sort of more stylized pattern, what I would suggest is, let's say this is the fur of the, or is it a fox or
the wolf?
A wolf. Yeah. So let's say this is the skin of the wolf or the fur. Then you have another layer. This would be your scar, maybe like the healing process, and you can control things like the roughness of the skin, and maybe this one is a bit yellowish, something like that. And then you have another one that controls the potential hide information, and that could be just to generate a nice sort of scar pattern or scar tissue. So I just have an extra layer that only has the hide enabled. So if you go to the maps, you can type, let's go 4 fibers, maybe something like this. This would be, yeah, this could be useful. One of these ones. I'm just gonna drop it in. Actually, let's create a black mask and a fill layer. Let's drop that in here. And then let's push the height, so we can control the height, and we can obviously change the tiling. Not sure if this is the best one. Let's try a different one. Yeah, this one would be nice. All right, so I'm going to increase the tiling so that we have all of those tiny, almost hairs. Play with the balance a bit. And then I'm also going to blur this. And it generates that sort of bumpy surface that usually, is very characteristic of the, scars. Obviously, you can do more. You can add another one, let's say, just to make it a bit more complex, but your style is, I mean, it's very stylized, so it doesn't have to be that realistic, but in case you want to, you can add maybe another one on top, doing the same thing, but then blend this one, like, and overlay it. I'd play with the balance as well, and then reduce the opacity. So you can just add a lot of detail just by stacking things up. So you see, makes a tiny difference. Now, once you have, let's say, the quality and the surface quality of the scar, you can combine all of this together into a group, do a black mask, and do a paint layer. And now using maybe something that has a bit of maybe the caulk would be good. You can just go ahead and add your scar, and you have that sort of like hide map already in there.
Yeah,
Now on top of that, you can add, let's say that this is the sort of thing that you're looking for. On top of that, you can add in an anchor point, and that would allow you to customize this mask even more. So let's just drop in an anchor point in there, and let's add a new fill layer. And this fill layer would maybe we can deal with the color, so there will be a nice decoloration around the edge. So let's press Alt to select just color, and just so that you can see it, will be a pretty bright red. And I'm going to bring in a black mask, bring in a fill layer, and I'm going to reference this anchor point. Click on this one, anchor point. So now we basically have this mask that I just painted. It is being referenced in here, but we can also add a filter. Can use something like the outline, like so. Play around with the threshold and with the width, and maybe a bit of the blurriness. It's the same thing, kind of. So now we can see what this is doing. Let's go back here. Let's select set from black. Basically, this set from black is going to start. It's going to start right from the edge of this of the alpha or the mask that you're creating. So from this edge, it's going to start fading things in. If you leave this on as true, is going to start from black. That's why it's saying, basically, it starts from black, then goes into white, and then back into black. If you turn it off, it starts straight away with white and then fades out. So that way you can see a bit more of that. But again, this is just a non-destructive workflow, so you can just push this, blur a little bit more, change the shape. Like so, and then you can take this color, maybe set it to overlay or soft light, something like that, and then play around with the color as well. I think
that's
maybe
awesome.
Very cool. Yeah.
right? So you can see, I mean, even if it is like an older sort of scar, you can add a bit of redness to it so that it's not perfect. All right, and the cool thing is that because we are referencing that specific layer, let's say the edge of it, it's still pretty strong, right? You could go ahead and add another layer just to control that. So that is hide information. So Alt hide. So this layer controls just that kind of like edge that is not like as realistic. So let's do the same thing. Black mask. Reference that mask again. So I'm going to reference the same anchor point. So I have two layers. Let's say this one is the red or orange one or red one, referencing that edge, and this one I'm going to make it green, and it's referencing the same mask, right? But I'm going to deal with the hide. So instead of doing what I did before, I'm going to add a filter, which is a blur, and I can slowly fade this out. Go back in here, and this is just hide, so I'm just changing this dynamically, right? And I could also, if I wanted to, I could override it, but I think this one, you get the idea of how this works. So I'm going to push this like so, or you can even change it, right? You can just push it in a bit more. Yeah, totally up to you. But the cool thing is, once you do this setup, you can go ahead and what I personally like to do is, if I have a setup of, let's say, these three layers that make this scar, right? I'm going to put it into a folder, and I'm going to call it scar. And you might see that this changed a bit. That is because it is all within a folder, so it's better to put it as pass-through, so that all the effects and blending and all of that comes through nicely. But basically now I have this scar, right? I can give it a color or whatever. But what I like to do is I like to take my folder or my layer where I have my paint effect, and I right-click and make it a red color or a green color, whatever suits you. It doesn't really matter. And then I can delete that. I can create another paint effect, put it below the anchor point so that all the stuff on top of it will be referencing it. I'm double-clicking it and type paint here. This is a reference for myself. So now I can right-click, create a smart material of my scar, and I'm just going to rename it temp scar, and I'll get rid of that later. So yeah, now I can just search for temp scar, this one right here. I can delete it, right? So I can start with this, and if you have another project, you just drag and drop it in there, and it looks like nothing happens. But I open this, go to my red folder, select my paint here layer, and because everything else is working on referencing, I'm just gonna paint scars. So I literally just created my own smart material for scars, which is pretty cool, right? And I think this is what sort of Owen was mentioning, that when it's an old scar, this is the type of thing that you'll end up with. But because it is non-destructive, you can totally change this all around and create like fresh wounds with the same idea. So just to show you how easy this is, I will change the base color to maybe the blood color, right? Make it very shiny, like so. Go to my hide controller. Obviously, you can rename things properly. Push that in a bit more. Maybe invert the hide mark here as well. And then take my other layer and spread it a bit more. Right, and it works the same way. You can just rename this and save it as another smart material, and just keep adding fresh wounds that have hide information. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so hopefully that helps.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
This helps a lot.
Yeah,
this is super handy. Thank you.
And what was the other thing that you were?
Yeah, I was going to show you. So if we go back to Angela's, so we've got in the chat, Pubs. Have you got the chat open there?
Nope. But I will pop up. Where's the chat? Oh, show chat. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, and then Angela, which is her. It's Caroline. Yep, that one with the wood character. Angie, you still on? Yeah, I think she is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, cool.
So what am I looking for? I'm going back into the
yeah.
chat.
Just go back into her entry, which is the changing of seasons one. The seasons change.
Hang on. Yep, got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to give you an
this
update.
One, right?
Yeah. So she's rendering in Blender. And she was having problems with the isotropic shader that was coming out, or the maps that were coming out of Substance Painter and then going into Blender Cycles. And you can see that she's not getting the satin finish on the actual fabric there itself. Inside of Blender. I haven't worked with Blender much in terms of like how the texture maps translate across into Cycles. She's not using the Substance plugin for Blender, so I suggested that because that sets up the shading network for you for the actual character itself. So but have you struck that before, where the actual isotropic isn't working in Blender?
Not. I mean, I haven't experienced that myself because I haven't used that solely in Blender. But what I can think of that could be is the anisotropic values of a shader, or not a shader, sorry, or if you want to create the material based on texture maps, and then you want to recreate that in a different shader, you potentially need an anisotropic map. So something that will tell the software where the effect would happen. So that sort of satin thing, because I assume it's for the green fabric, right?
She had. I mean, she's got that in Substance Painter. So she was, but it was just the map wasn't translating across into Blender.
But was the anisotropic map exported from Blender? It's a different map from roughness, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Substance exports anisotropic level and anisotropic angle, and they're both black and white maps from out of the Substance.
Yeah, that's what you need. If you have those, it should work.
Yeah, that's
so you put the anisotropic here. This is the input of the anisotropic. Is that where you have it?
Yeah. I'm using the principal, the BSDF shader.
Yep. So it should be here. Now, when it comes to like black and white maps for, let's say, metallic and roughness, isotropic, all of that, just make sure that I'm gonna do one just to show you what it is. Just make sure, and I don't have any black and white. Oh, maybe I do. Just doing a test. Yeah, cool test. Make sure that the color space is not set to RGB, because it's not an RGB map. It's either non-color or set it to raw. Is that it? Yeah, you got that as well? It's set to UV as well, the mapping?
I haven't actually done that.
That's important. Like if you have just this, in theory it should work.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary for everything, but it might be for the anisotropic.
Yeah, so in Blender, you have a thing called, you go to Preferences, and you go to Add-ons, just type Node Wrangler, and I think it comes with Blender now. So this one right here that I have enabled. If you haven't, just tick on the box, and the Node Wrangler allows you to plug in things a lot easier. So with the Node Wrangler, you can select your principal BSDF, and if you hold Control Shift and then T for texture, Control Shift T, that brings in this, and then like a file browser, and then you can select the folder that has all of your all of your textures. Select them all, and it will plug them in automatically for you. Alternatively, if you want to do one at a time, which is this is what I would recommend if you are troubleshooting things. to do one at a time, and that way you figure out what's the map that is missing or what's the value that you're missing, right? So you can select your BSDF with the node wrangler, hold Control and T, that's the shortcut, so without the shift, so Control T, and that would create the node with a texture. By default, it's set it to color, but you can just set, this is going to be anisotropic, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You load your texture, which I have here as well. And this is very important because this is what is telling the software how to apply this texture. So you have UVs, obviously, because you'll be working in Substance and the character has UVs. So you just need to tell the software, yep, I'm going to use UVs, and UVs set to vector, and this type sets to point as well, and set it to vector here, and you can select the object that has the UVs as well. And that way, it should map it correctly. So the issue potentially is that it is working. It's just that the software doesn't know that you're using UVs, maybe.
Okay, I'll try that. I shall just try it now.
That's awesome. Thanks, Pops.
All good. I don't know if this is showing, but yeah. Do one more because we've been on for a while and I've got to bounce to some other meetings. But I'm just gonna share my screen again, Pablo. Oh, are you just waiting to see if that works? I can hold off. Oh yeah. No, you can just feel free to do it. I was just checking that it would actually work or change without the UVs, but it seems to be
not
doing anything. Maybe it's something that only works for cycles. I haven't actually. Yeah. Maybe that is the reason. If you're using a Blender Eve, that might be the issue.
I'm using cycles.
Okay. Yeah, cycles works for me. I have just just a random noise texture, and it's driving that anisotropic value nicely. So it creates that setting. Let me try it one more time with the texture. This is a random texture, so I'm gonna have to use a ramp just to crunch those values. But yeah,
you can see it in there.
It is working.
Okay. I'll just.
Oh, sorry. No, this is this color. Sorry. Anisotropic.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Yep, it is working. So yeah, just maybe screenshot this and see if your setup looks similar to mine.
Got it.
Cool. Alrighty.
Jump on that and we'll do this last one. So yeah, this is the last one. So I think this person, Anastasia started off. I think she was doing. What was she doing first? Yeah, started off doing one of the clickers from but realized that there was a few people doing that, so then pivoted and is doing this kind of rose type character. So it's kind of supposed to be a rose with an eyeball, and then I guess there's a lot of different vegetation and fungi and I guess growth or whatever it is that's on the outside of it. So yeah, here's some concept which has got that sort of the dark rose eye there. And if I just move to where they are now, scroll up, it's kind of where they're at now. Like, the water drops are quite a nice touch, but I just feel like that it's not reading as a rose quite as prominently as I'd probably like it to be.
Nah, And I don't think it would be as easy to recreate that sort of shape, especially without a vector displacement. Because if it is just black and white displacement, it's not going to have that sort of curliness of the petal of the rose.
Yeah. That's a tricky one, right?
Yeah, very tricky.
The stuff on the body is quite. I mean, it's interesting. I think would be good to see. If it is sort of, I don't know if it's supposed to be warts or blood warts or whatever it is, but it'd be good to see some roughness variation in that, so they felt like they were like just really oozing sort of pus and that type thing.
Maybe some even some subsurface scattering as well.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know what to say about the rose, so that's going to be a difficult one to try and pull off.
I would even think that maybe rather than just try to push the petals so that they look like they're open, do it more like a rose art type of thing. Like
it's
you could have like a petal, like the larger petals all around, like sort of covering that sort of area, and then just it's gonna be hard, but like some tiny wrinkles in a circular fashion so that it looks like it's crumpled. I don't know. It's a hard one because it's.
If we go back to the reference, because let's just see what's working on that. Because it's
like that big reference. That would be more. That's probably more what I would go for. So you have like a bit of a indentation of crevices.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one,
rather than
the open.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah, because that one you could totally do the one that is more closed up.
Yeah, because even there it's quite closed off, and it's just got the face in the middle or the mouth in the middle. But it's going to be. I think it's going to be really hard to try and get that effect. So maybe just looking, just instead of opening it up, it would be closing and sort of having that shape around the eyeball, which I think would really. Like just to even kind of like have the mystique of the eyeball sort of just poking out, like you don't actually, you can see. I can see there the displacement that's being used, but that shape, I think it would be to try and just even get that sort of like that middle without the big leaves opening up.
I mean the actual depth map doesn't look that bad. But it would be a lot easy to go the other way around.
I'm not too sure. Even with the color of the rose, like it just doesn't read as a rose, kind of like this at the moment. And maybe that maybe it would be better if actually the whole thing wasn't that same color, but if that was the flower that was the main face part that was coming out, and maybe instead of it all being red, you could have the leaves, which were green on the outside, which is showing the opening of that bud. You know what I mean? Just to kind of because it just doesn't read as a rose. So maybe just try playing with just the actual using the face of meat mat to close that up a little bit and actually have a bud rather than an opening rose. And then using the outer shell by putting some of the leaves to and that would really help sell the idea of it being a flower as well, I think as well, Pablo. With the green on the outside.
Just integrate the head with the body a bit more.
Yeah.
So that you have a bit of green as well through. I could, if you want, I can just show you on something that I would do in ZBrush.
Yeah, go
for that. Should be fairly quick in order to get that that thing going. So let me know if you can see this.
Yep.
Yeah. So just to steer, assume this is the head or the eyeball, really, and then you can just go ahead and append another tool in ZBrush. Let's say a plane, right? Select that plane. And I'm going to simplify this even more. Something like this. and then just give it a shape. So this could be the actual pedal. I'm gonna do it from this angle. All right. So once you have your pedal, what you can do is simulate this. Hang on. And I'm going to add a little bit of thickness. So in ZBrush, you have the transpose cloth. And if you go to the dynamics palette, you can click on this collision volume. And that will basically analyze whatever is in the scene. And with the transpose cloth, it allows you to push it slowly until it sort of wraps around.
Oh, that's cool.
This needs to be done differently. So I'm going to change the firmness so that it doesn't have that much structure.
Oh, that's cool.
Less than that. Actually, before I simulate it, I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to take this one, like so, and you can also, rotate things around. We duplicate this one, move it around. You can recalculate every time there is a new object. I like to recalculate so that it considers, let's say, the other pedal as well. Duplicate, calculate.
Start building out that rosebud. Yeah.
This will take time to adjust, but once you have these sort of things, you can, let's say, duplicate them all. So I'm going to put them in a folder. Merge folder. Just going to scale them up, rotate things around. And then go back, simulate that bit.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah. I mean, this is very
quick. Yeah,
very quick.
You get the idea. It's a cool technique.
Let me mesh this down. Once you have this bit,
Sculpting on the edges.
everything has a different group,
Yeah.
And from the top, you won't see certain bits. I'm not worried too much about the outside, because I'll show you what I'll do. And you could almost use the petals or the edge of the petals as the eyelids, so that you can give it a bit of expression.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, so once you have this at this point, it's gonna subdivide up one more time, so it's nice and smooth. You place it from an angle that you like it, and let's say go to the brush standard on the brush, and from the alpha palette, you can go ahead and click on from mesh, and this basically brings this pop-up window. Oops, let's combine this with the spheres that we can mesh it together. I don't know what happened there. Oh, okay. sorry. Forgot that I had the dynamic subdivision enabled. All right. So back to what I was saying. So you have something that you like from an angle that you like. You click on from mesh here. Then you have this shape that you can move around, rotate even from this angle, and you see the depth map that it will produce.
Yeah.
So you can just set the resolution, 1024, pour that out, bring it into Substance. This is your ultimately this is your new alpha, and you can just go anywhere else. So let's say this is Substance. I assume that this is Substance, just so that we can do it quickly. I can drag this in like so, and I can blur the sides a bit more.
Yeah, nice. So it fits in, and then you put the eyeball on that. Yeah, like that's awesome.
Yeah, and then this sort of like you can create your own and your sculpted maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is what I think we were kind of like pointing at, that it is easier and better to do it like this way, so that you have your petals this color, and I think what you were suggesting is on top of that, just adding a bit of green that sort of wraps around it.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Like that, yeah. So I think that is, it will integrate the whole body a bit more.
Yep.
And look, look
something
a lot
like
better.
That. Yep.
Something like that, yeah.
Exactly what I was referring to. Very good. Well, I've got to bounce to another meeting, and I think we've been on for a good session. So, yeah, thank you all for jumping back on. And this is the last session, actually. So good luck with the end of the contest. If you have any other questions before the contest closes, then feel free to ping me a message. And yeah, then we can pick it up. But good luck, everyone. It's been amazing, and I'm going to carry on these kind of live feedback sessions on Fridays. So and that's going to be open not just for the contest, but for anyone that's working on a project or a portfolio of work or whatever it may be. I just want to be able to kind of keep these live sessions open, and if there's people like Pablo that are around, or other judges or industry pros that want to jump in, then I'm just going to just invite them on. So Pablo, dude, you're a rock star. Thank you so much for jumping on, man. And
all good, man. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks for all the feedback, Alan.
No worries, Angela. Thank you so much. Yeah, good luck for the rest of it.
Cheers.
Ciao. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.